What a sunny weather. Hi everyone, my name is Helena Hetman and today we are speaking about 4th week of my reading in 2021, and this wrap-up will contain 7 books. Well, actually 5 graphic novels and 2 single issues, because the first books well, the first issues of comics we will speak about, they never was continued, and it was Little Preachers by Rutland. It was a story of a son of a preacher who has really nice relationship with his father, who's a pastor. The father is not abusive, the father is really caring, but they communicate a lot. But the boy had really tough and never-ending nightmares that he's going to hell, and he is heavily indoctrinated as a child of a preacher. His childhood is spent in church. My friends who borrowed me them didn't have the continuation, and I was searching for it and I couldn't find any. So I suppose that this graphic novel is just abandoned by Rutland, and that's not a great thing to start a week with. Next came Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. When I watching booktube videos about graphic novels, that's one of the first graphic novels that comes into the picture, that comes into mind to recommend to someone, and I finally read it. It was good. It was good, but not great for me. I really enjoyed the art style. They're making a movie out of it. I'm concerned how the story will be presented without this lovely and really cutesy art style of Noelle Stevenson, but good for her. The story is about a supervillain and his sidekick, a girl named Nimona, who is space shifter. And I enjoyed her character. I guess there is some commentary on a certain mental illness or mental illness in general. I didn't get it completely, maybe because English is not my native language, but if you have any idea or was there any commentary on a mental illness, was it intentional or it's just something I was seeing in the story but it wasn't put there initially? I don't really know. So I'm a bit confused on this part. I actually really enjoyed the main love story, and no, that's not the love story of Nimona and this supervillain. That was the direction where we were shifting, space shifting, shape shifting. Did I say it, she was a space shifter or shape shifter? Because she was a shape shifter. So it was a direction where the story was shifting, but I understood it only in the middle of the story, and I think it's good because I'm usually the type of reader who don't understand it at all. Like, until the very end, it's all a surprise for me. Every romantic turn, every, thriller turn is a surprise for me. So it was nice to finally be able to guess something and to have a clue about what's going on. What I didn't really like is how many people actually died because of Nimona, and how she was killing people around her without any second reflection on it. That was very weird and I would say questionable for me. Sun is feeling so good. The next graphic novel that I read was amazing, was just great. It was Phoolan Devi, the Rebel Queen by Claire Fauvel, about Phoolan Devi, an Indian hero, a woman who rebelled against the tribal rules of her motherland and who became a bandit, almost a Robin Hood type of bandit, about her life, about her struggles, about her past. It's a biographical graphic novel about the life of this woman who is a famous history figure who I never heard about, and that's on me. That's my problem. And I searched on her. I want to read her story that was written from her oral words. I mean, obviously it was from her oral narrative, because she um, wasn't able to write, and she had a great impact on the culture of her country and the politics of her country, because she became a politician as well, a part of a politic party at the end of her life. And the whole story is just great. It's amazing, it's inspirational, and it's very life-giving. She was taking a lot of lives, and when in case with Nimona, I was concerned about how many people the girl killed, because it was all done in a sense of, you know, it's all fun, we are in a superhero, super villain type of story, we can kill civilians, we can just, you know, kill a lot of guards who are on other side, but they are not actually villains, but you know, they just happened to be there, happened to work on this corporation, so we are killing them without any second thought, this type of killing. And there are a lot of much more killing people, much more act of killing, and much more blood and much more violence in 𝓫𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓫 Devi graphic novel, but it feeling so authentical, it feeling so right in this graphic novel, because that's a real life story, and that's how it was, that's how graphic and violent and full of struggle, of pain, of tears it was in history. So she is killing people. There is a lot of violence against women. It was a part of her story, of her life, and there is also a lot of justice. And for me, that was such a good thing to read, because it was bringing justice to the victims. They were violent, they were cruel, and the justice that came to them was exactly in the same way as they were to their victims. It was satisfying read in this way, if you understand what I mean. I hope you don't, because if you do, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. That's getting deep, a bit personal. But if you understand, if you feel what I'm talking about, you're probably a very empathetic person, or you had something like this in your life, and I do think that you would like this graphic novel. It also contains a very, very sweet love story between Phoolan Devi and her second husband, and I enjoyed it so much. They were such a cute couple. I really loved it, and I was excited on how their romance was developed. I had my fangirl moment when I was like, when I understood they're getting together. I was so happy. And also I had a lot of other moments, like that was this type of graphic novels that I couldn't read, you know, just silently. I was constantly like standing up, changing my position, going to eat something. Some moments were so emotional, so cruel, so right into your heart, then that I was just not able to read more. I was not able to read further, you know. I needed to have a pause, and I was just pausing it. I was, you know, sitting near the book, just still, breathing in, breathing out, watching the wall, because I needed, you know, some change of thought, because it was just too intense for me sometimes. But it was a solid read. I totally recommend it. It's great. After this, a graphic novel, and after I researched on 𝓫𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸 and understood that a big part of a woman's history went past me, because I never heard about this amazing woman. I was very happy that this kind of graphic novels exist, and I decided to read more biographies, graphic biographies. And I executed on this decision later. But now let's come to the fifth book I read that week, and it was not that good. It was not that good. It was a Big Mushy Happy Lump by Sarah Andersen, And let me be honest, it was much, much better than her first book in this series, which was Adulthood is a Myth. I gave Adulthood is a Myth 1 star because it was not worth any more from me. It was total crap. I read it last year. I hated it. But Big Mushy Happy Lump, whatever it means, it was a bit better. I gave it 2 stars because it reminded me, a few strips reminded me of my mom, and it was good strips. Okay, there was 2 or 3 good strips, and that's why I rated it 2 stars. But in general, just because of it. But I was shocked. Goodreads award for graphic novel in 2017. What? What? First of all, in a level of graphic novel, it doesn't have any level. It's just, a cartoon art, very, very primitive. And I'm not saying it's bad. She has her own style, very recognizable style. And the whole premise of these books are not the art style or the graphic of these novels, or the art in any way. It's the humor, Zara's humor. But I don't enjoy her humor. That's another story. But many people do. But I did not understand how it happens to be on graphic novels, not on humor, and why it won. It's just a big, big question for me. I guess she has a lot of subscribers and a lot of people who follow her and a lot of fan base, but it was just really weird because the humor in it is very, very average. Again, these two or three little comics that I enjoyed in the books, that is, I guess, 200 pages of comics or something. This little one Instagram type of comics. I just didn't get the fame. I didn't get the hype. I don't think there was nothing better in 2017 for readers to choose as a winner of graphic novels on Goodreads awards. That was really strange for me. Why am I keeping my hand like this? That's weird. Okay. The next one was also a kind of a disappointment. It was Kabul Disco, How I Managed to Not Be Abducted in Afghanistan by Nicolas Wilde. And let's be honest, this title is eye-catching. Okay, I was hooked by the title. And this story is about Nicolas Wilde, who is going to Afghan to work in a charity organization which is producing comics about Afghan constitution to explain it to children. So, the political situation in Afghan and social situation is really harsh. There are a lot of things going on. It's a war state in the country, I guess, and there is a lot of military organizations. There is US Army, there is Afghan Army, there is terrorists, etc., etc. And the title is really eye-catching. I was thinking about something interesting happening, but only good thing that was happening is the office relationship. If is your typical office, typical people who you meet at your job. Nicolas Wilde had an amazing talent for portraying all of these day-to-day situations in a very funny way, in a very witty way, this strange humor of your colleagues, weird situations that appear on a workplace. That's all. That's what I enjoyed in the novel, but it has nothing to do with Afghanistan. It has nothing to do with Kabul. It has nothing to do with locals and local culture and his experience with local culture. It was very mediocre. I would say it was very heavily focused on those expats who came to Afghanistan to work in charity organizations, and they are coming together, doing the parties, going to restaurants, French restaurants. Like, what does it have in common with Afghanistan, right? It's just about expats' life. But the title was so misleading for me because listen to it again. Kabul Disco. How I Managed Not to Be Abducted in Afghanistan. And the answer to this question, it's not a question, but the answer to this question is he never actually was in a situation where he was going to be abducted at the first place. No one was trying to kidnap him. No one was putting him into such a situation when he had this possibility to be abducted. So it was so misleading. It was so disappointing. Not because the comics itself was disappointing. I mean, it was a nice representation of, I guess, charity organization, and it has a lot of office jokes and, you know, office, I mean, the workplace jokes, and a lot of great type of interactions that funny interactions that happen between the newcomer into the office and the people who work in them for a longer time, etc., etc. But nothing about Afghanistan, nothing about Kabul, nothing about abduction. It I don't know. I was disappointed. Next and the last book we will be talking about is 𝓫𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓫. Yes, 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 yes. I didn't know what I was going into. When I started reading, believe me, I did not know. I got this book from my friend. It was called 𝓫𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸𝓸, a dead dating comic book. And I was like, sounds hot. Not really. Not really. It was a comic book about, based on characters and plot of a video game. I don't play video games, that's why it's so hard for me to explain it. That the characters of this video game are gay single fathers who's dating each other, as I understood. I never played it, I have no intentions to do it, but that's how it seemed to me. That's how I understood from the explanation, because I was hoping for something totally different based on the title. Let's leave it alone. But actual book was actually really fluff. There wasn't any steam things. The steamiest it got was kissing. It was more a slice of life than romance for me. There were a lot of just interactions, people doing their business, people making commercial for other people. It was told and drawn in a very sweet style, art-wise and plot-wise. So it has a little bit of humor, a little bit of romantic scenes, a little bit of, you know, intrigue, but not too much of any of it. And of course, you know, since it's a comics book that is based on a specific video game with very, very specific premise of this video game, everyone in this book is gay, a single father. There was no single inappropriate moment of interactions with children. I liked it a lot, and I liked how the kids were portrayed, very accurate according to their age. I guess those who are into male on male romance will enjoy it much more than I did. That's all for today. Read good books. I will catch up you. I will catch up with you later.